We've got ESPN's ranks of WNBA players right now. And Caitlyn Clark is really high. One could argue she's not high enough. But I think it's pretty surprising for a lot of these folks. I will tell you this straight up. Angel Reese ain't nowhere to be found in the top 10. She's not involved. You're not here. Sorry, but not sorry. You're not to be seen.
Angel Reese is in complete disarray after ESPN dropped their 2025 rankings. Reality hit her harder than any defender she's ever boxed out this season. She strutted around convinced she was the undisputed queen of the court, exuding that "I define women's basketball" vibe, only to be shocked when ESPN didn't place her in the top 5 or even the top 10, but at 12th. Yep, 12th. And let's be real, that's still way too high. But hey, it looks like the crown slipped. Now she's reacting as if someone swiped her favorite pair of designer sunglasses, going full meltdown mode. Maybe ESPN just replayed her latest blooper reel at Unrivaled.
So, let's all get a laugh together here, because this is the list. And you see the list, right? Well, I don't see, correct me if I'm wrong, do you see Angel Reese on this list?
Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark is comfortably holding on to second place, completely unfazed, letting her performance speak for itself while Reese scrambles to keep her reputation intact. It's crazy to think that not long ago, everyone was trying to manufacture a rivalry, pitting Reese against Clark as if it were a genuine debate. Remember when even the commissioner was joining in on the hype?
Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Well, consider that debate a closed chapter. The divide isn't just obvious, it's downright embarrassing. Clark never even broke a sweat, effortlessly outpacing her rival, while Reese is probably busy rage scrolling through her mentions, trying to tweet away the sting. Still skeptical? Check the facts. Let's be real. This is pure humiliation for Angel Reese. She had all the hype, the media frenzy, and every bit of trash talk at her disposal. She built her brand on being that unstoppable game changer. But when it came time to back it up, she ended up stranded outside the top 10, clutching nothing more than a participation trophy. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark has been quietly dominating, dropping triple-doubles, shattering 62 records, and effortlessly redefining what it means to be a sports superstar. No gimmicks, no excuses, just unfiltered dominance.
Okay. And lo and behold, I couldn't believe my eyes when I seen number 2. They had Caitlyn Clark. I said, really?
And spare me the whole, but she's a double-double machine excuse. Sure, racking up double-doubles is impressive, but what's even more impressive? Being the main reason fans tune in to every game. Remember when ESPN practically radiated an anti-Clark vibe, as if they were allergic to admitting she was the standout? Well, even they had to eventually admit the truth. She's the magnet, the one drawing all the attention.
You know, a lot of people say that Caitlyn Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
The numbers don't fib, the stats are crystal clear, and now even the rankings are laying down the truth. Meanwhile, Angel Reese fans are squinting at the list, desperately scrolling as if her name were hidden in microscopic print. Sorry to break it to you, but landing in 12th place isn't exactly what you'd call superstar status. It's like showing up to an exclusive VIP bash convinced you're the guest of honor, only to be left waiting outside while Caitlyn Clark is inside, commanding the room. And those critics of Caitlyn Clark really pulled out every narrative in the book to paint Reese as being on her level. Now, it's just silence, crickets. Honestly, it's almost serene without all that noise, isn't it?
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She has energy, she has an attitude, she'll rebound you the basketball, great. Nothing else. She has not, she's got self-awareness. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
Let's not kid ourselves. If the roles were switched, the story would be entirely different. Picture this: Caitlyn Clark dropping to 12th, while Angel Reese lounges comfortably at number 2. The internet would be ablaze, with sports shows devoting whole segments to dissecting it. Reese's fans would be celebrating like they just clinched the WNBA title. But now that Reese occupies the 12th spot, suddenly those rankings lose all their meaning. ESPN's list? Completely irrelevant. Funny how that conveniently shifts the narrative, isn't it?
If we did go off of how much winning Caitlyn was doing, how she was contributing to winning, and then going off the viewership and all that, oh yeah, for sure. I think Caitlyn should have won.
The truth is, rankings do matter, especially when you've built your entire persona around drawing eyes to women's basketball. And Caitlyn Clark? She's locked in at number 2, though let's be honest, she ought to be number 1. But that's cool. She doesn't need to top the list to prove she's the face of the sport. Her record-breaking plays, packed arenas, and jaw-dropping highlights have already said it all. This ranking just confirms what we've known all along. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, yikes.
And now she knows it to the point that even when she's on the basketball court, she's aware, like, this ain't really my thing. Let me get this hot potato out of my hand and to somebody that knows what they're doing with it as soon as possible. You got to see this clip. This is a 3-on-3 basketball game. Angel Reese strips a player at one end, runs down court with the basketball, 3-4 steps ahead of everybody, has an easy layup, and throws it to the girl behind her.
What's even more hilarious is that ESPN has finally caught up with reality. Caitlyn has become indisputable. Remember last season when, for reasons that defied all logic, ESPN placed Angel Reese above Caitlyn Clark on the rookie list? Yes, above the very Caitlyn Clark who was out there breaking records like it was her day job, pulling up from the logo and making defenders question their entire careers. And what was Reese doing? Just vibing. That's really all there was to it.
And this is ESPN's list, y'all, not mine. So don't be chirping, getting mad if your fave isn't at the top. So at number 1, we have Cameron Brink. Number 2, Angel Reese. Number 3, Kate Martin. 4, Rickea Jackson. 5, Julie Vanloo. And 6, Caitlyn Clark.
Now the truth is out, and the rankings finally mirror reality. Caitlyn Clark isn't just great, she's a generational talent, while Angel Reese, maybe next time, try less talking and more hooping. Sure, Angel Reese did snag some rebounds, credit where it's due, but beyond that, what were we really watching? A highlight reel of missed shots, lackluster defense, and an offensive output emptier than a vending machine after midnight. Yet somehow, despite all the brick shots and defensive blunders, she was hailed as one of the top rookies, even pocketing a Rookie of the Year vote. Fast forward to today, and it seems the experts have finally opened their eyes. Maybe they actually watch the games now, or perhaps they stopped buying into the TikTok hype, or maybe reality hit them like a missed layup off the backboard. Either way, justice has been served because the more you watch Angel play, the more it's clear she hasn't improved. In fact, she might have even regressed.
Angel Reese was older. I would have gotten on her about what she just said. Because I would have been like, how naive can you be?
The WNBA is absolutely losing it. On the latest comedy special, Angel Reese declared her intention to dethrone Caitlyn Clark, as if the enduring superstar could be unseated by someone who's been busy feigning injuries and shedding tears over on-screen theatrics. And let's not overlook her complaints about her salary being substandard. Angel has officially branded herself.
Angel Reese is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlyn Clark is when she's on the basketball floor. Plain and simple.
It's truly ridiculous that she believes she can outshine Clark, the athlete who consistently makes history each season. Reese has only perfected the art of self-deprecation, but who knows? Maybe she's earning accolades for being pitiable. Before Reese starts talking about taking over the WNBA, she might want to reassess her reputation first. Switching coaches won't make her the standout. She needs to adjust her attitude first.
And look, Angel Reese, there's nothing that she does where you go, did you see her?
Angel Reese appears convinced that partnering with David Alexander, LeBron James's trainer, will catapult her into women's basketball stardom. Indeed, collaborating with one of the top trainers globally might make her seem nearly unbeatable and poised to unseat Caitlyn Clark. However, while Reese is busy refining her general movement patterns, Caitlyn Clark is actively enhancing her shooting and playmaking, key aspects that define the best players on the court. Best of luck, Angel. Clark is sharpening the skills that have already left you behind as you continue your current efforts. Reese might have enjoyed her time at LSU, but equating her level with Clark's is like claiming you'll drop a hit album after singing in the shower for 5 minutes. That's not competitive, it's sheer delusion. While Clark reigns supreme in basketball overall, Reese may have been LSU's standout. But Caitlyn is out there transforming the entire game. Reese boasts about overtaking Clark. However, I'd love to hear more about how you intend to dethrone a legend before you've even started making your mark professionally.
Camille, this is the most we've ever lost in our life. I only lost 7 games in my last 2 years at LSU. So, it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace.
Let's rewind to the 2023 NCAA championship. Remember that scene? Reese was desperately trying to steal Clark's spotlight with a childish taunt, flashing the "you can't see me" gesture right back at Clark. Oh, that was certainly a moment, but for all the wrong reasons. While Reese was busy playing WWE with her hand movements, Clark was out there effortlessly outscoring everyone, including Reese. Angel's bold move was a weak attempt to make herself relevant by trying to steal the show for just 5 seconds. Reese was merely acting to grab attention. This isn't the case.
There is no one like Caitlyn Clark in the history of the WNBA.
Speaking of numbers, let's consider Reese's WNBA debut. It was underwhelming at best. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark is setting the league on fire, averaging 19.2 points per game and dishing out assists like she's been playing professionally for years. In comparison, Reese is putting up 13.6 points per game, which is almost 6 points shy of Clark's tally, in case anyone was unaware. And let's not overlook that Clark topped all rookies with 8.4 assists per game. So, what was Reese up to? She was still mastering consistent shooting, though she certainly gave it her best effort. Moving on to the Rookie of the Year race, Reese only reached the finals, which now feels more like a participation ribbon. Clark didn't just win, she entered the league with a clear intention to dominate, and now Reese is struggling to keep pace. Clark secured that award effortlessly. It wasn't even a contest.
But they still ask you about Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm like, cool. The pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool. I could just hoop. So I don't know when it started to just break out where I was just in Rookie of the Year conversations. I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
Reese's off-court life has truly become a spectacle. She secured a shoe deal with Reebok, which is quite a feat for someone who hasn't yet proven she can consistently perform at the highest level. Let's give her that. Meanwhile, Clark is out there revolutionizing the game with every move she makes. Reese is busy showcasing her lifestyle on Instagram, which is nice and all, but if you think that will help you surpass Clark, then good luck. If I were in her place, I'd focus more on basketball instead of counting the number of likes on your posts. In summary, while Angel Reese may be garnering attention with her off-court ventures and endorsement deals, Caitlyn Clark stands out as the true powerhouse in women's basketball. Clark's unwavering dedication to refining her skills, combined with her impressive on-court statistics and game-changing plays, solidifies her position as a league leader. As the WNBA progresses, it's evident that Caitlyn Clark is not only setting new standards, but also shaping the future of the sport. Meanwhile, Reese's focus on lifestyle branding and inconsistent performance leaves her trailing behind, highlighting the clear distinction between fleeting fame and sustained excellence in the world of basketball.
So when Lisa Leslie is on Angel Reese's podcast and gets asked anything you would want me to work on going into year 2, Lisa Leslie has a laundry list she's already written out. Your layups suck. Your layups suck. You can't finish. You can't finish. You can't. Lisa Leslie had a huge list.
Ever wondered what happens when a basketball superstar's ego starts to outpace her talent? Angel Reese's new podcast, Unapologetically Angel, is offering us a front row seat to just that. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
I don't know what the scouts were looking at. I really don't. But following the 7, God has a plan, and it is what it is. And you ended up Chicago, but I'm just telling you,
going into season,
you were ready.
Thank you. Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
From WNBA legends ripping her layups to painfully low viewership numbers, Reese's efforts to stay in the spotlight are backfiring in the cringiest way imaginable. You won't believe the stinging words her own mentor, Lisa Leslie, had to say about her game. Stick with us as we unpack this train wreck that's got the entire basketball world talking. Ready for the ride? Let's go. Here's the kicker. Angel Reese just can't seem to escape Caitlyn Clark's shadow, even on her own turf. Reese kicked off Unapologetically Angel to show fans a side of her beyond the court, but it's quickly spiraled into a series of awkward missteps. No matter who she's chatting with or what they start talking about, the conversation always circles back to one name, Caitlyn Clark.
Angel Reese on the Unapologetically Clout-Chasing Caitlyn Clark podcast. I think that's what it's called. Unapologetic Clout-Chasing of Caitlyn Clark podcast, hosted by Angel Reese.
It's like Caitlyn Clark has become this uninvited guest star Reese just can't shake. Is it the guests who keep mentioning her? Or is Reese unknowingly steering the conversation straight to Clark Island? You've got to wonder what's really going on in Reese's mind. Is it fierce rivalry, hidden admiration, or is Clark simply that dominant in women's basketball at the moment?
So when you say Cheryl swoops Caitlyn Clark, it's like, oh my goodness, Cheryl doesn't like her, so let's see what this is about. And like, all of that's stupid to me. Mm-hmm. It's not true, it's all stupid. And also, now they may be mad when I say this, because it's funny to me. Like, when I look at the number 22s in the league, like I was 22, Asia's 22, Caitlyn's 22. Like, those are some hell of a good number 22s. And we're all a part of the Nike family.
Let's break this down. Episode after episode, the same pattern keeps popping up. 1 minute, Reese is talking about her go-to pregame routine, and the next, bam, someone's raving about Clark's latest record-breaking feat. It's almost laughable how predictable it's become. Fans on social media are having a blast with it, joking that the podcast should be rebranded as The Caitlyn Clark Show, hosted by Angel Reese.
Because of women's basketball, whenever you think of Angel Reese, people often mention Caitlyn Clark. You've said in interviews, there's no beef, but the media keeps going on. This is your platform, so how do you feel about that situation?
I think just being able to be in that moment of it happening, you never realize how something can literally change your life. And knowing my 5 fingers and my other finger pointing at my hand could literally have changed my life for like forever is crazy.
But here's where it gets interesting. All this Clark-centric chatter might actually be helping Reese out more than we think. Every time Clark's name pops up, it's bringing more eyes to Reese's podcast. Even basketball analysts are catching on, noting how Reese's efforts to focus on her own story often get buried under the weight of Clark's accomplishments.
Why do you think people love Caitlyn Clark, besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before. That's my point. Steph Curry, a little kid. Like Steph Curry, I love, you know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before.
You've got to wonder what this is doing to Reese's image and the vision she had for her podcast. Did she set out to create a space where she'd be constantly compared to Clark? Or is this just an unexpected turn in the Angel Reese saga? There's a thin line between staying relevant and becoming obsessed, and right now, it's tough to say which side Reese is on. Want to know what Reese's so-called mentor had to say about her?
Lisa Leslie appears on Angel Reese's podcast, Unapologetically Angel. She gives Angel some advice. Just a hint, it has to do with her layups.
You thought the Caitlyn Clark comparisons were rough? Well, Angel Reese's latest podcast episode just took a sharp detour into Awkward City when WNBA legend Lisa Leslie showed up in the Unapologetically Angel studio. Fans were probably expecting some easygoing chat and maybe a few pearls of wisdom. Instead, they got a front row seat to what can only be called a public roasting. Leslie, apparently not one for softening the blow, decided to keep it 100, and I mean really 100.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period.
Let's break this down, shall we? Leslie, a 2-time WNBA champ and one of the most dominant players in women's basketball history, didn't waste a second getting straight to the point. She looked Reese dead in the eye and dropped this truth bomb. The biggest advice I have for you is how you shoot your layups, period. Ouch. Can you imagine trying to host your own show while your basketball idol basically tells you your fundamentals are in serious need of some TLC? But wait, it gets better. Or worse, depending on how you see it.
It's just a fact. She is, it's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats. I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13%.
Leslie didn't just stop at calling out Reese's layup form. She went full statistician on us, dropping the cold, hard numbers. She pointed out that Reese shot a rough 39.1% from the field during her rookie season. Now, for those of you who aren't basketball buffs, that's not exactly impressive, especially when you consider that Reese was shooting under 50% on shots less than 5 feet from the basket. Ouch.
This is like WNBA leveling up and all eyes on her now. I think that she knows that she has to completely restructure her form because that is not the way to be efficient in the post position that she is in. At the post position that she's in, a layup is supposed to be a given. She needs to improve her touch around the rim, like all over the place, but she seems to take these desperation shots.
Now, picture this. Reese, probably sweating bullets, doing her best to keep it together as Leslie just keeps dropping these brutal truths. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You can't look away. The tension in that studio had to be so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Keep in mind, this is the same Angel Reese who spent all season battling stat padding allegations, to the point where her coach got fired. Heck, even Kennedy Carter threw some shade on her way out of Chicago.
Kennedy Carter Instagram account right here, guys. And I'm here to tell you, bruh, She been going on a little rant all night long. Now, this is the tweet right here that kind of sparked everything. She stated, I think the ability to consistently make layups just put anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. Now, a lot of people is insinuating that this tweet is towards Angel Reese.
Here's the thing about pro athletes. They love spilling the tea on social media. And when it comes to the Chicago Sky, Kennedy Carter just cranked the heat up to full blast. You know those cryptic tweets that leave you thinking, wait, what's really going on here? Well, Carter dropped a real gem that had everyone connecting the dots faster than you can say layup. She tweeted about the importance of making layups. Sounds innocent enough, right? Wrong. See? Angel Reese had been struggling with her layups all season long. We're talking a dismal 42.4% success rate, the worst in the WNBA. That's not just bad. That's maybe you should try underhand bad. Out of 321 attempts, Reese only made 136. Ouch.
Just like I've been telling y'all, bro. She has been making it her business to sneak this Angel Reese every chance she get. Now, since she's been cut, it look even more obvious. Somebody said, LOL, you ain't down. Now, this tweet right here just popped up here. Somebody tried to come into the defense of her because we know she's a free agent. So, like, if you throw teammates, ex-teammates under the bus, that's going to hurt you even more.
But hold up, there's more. When a fan posted a graphic showing Reese's layup percentages, Carter couldn't resist chiming in. Translation for anyone who doesn't speak Twitter, you nailed it. Let's be real. Subtle as a sledgehammer, right? This public critique isn't just about Reese's layups or shooting percentages. It's about bigger issues with her playing style and approach to the game. When someone with Leslie's pedigree takes the time to break down your weaknesses so thoroughly, it's clear these problems aren't just rookie jitters or small flaws. They're red flags.
Has nobody mentioned this to Angel Reese through 17 to 23 years old? So every time she would meet a legend or meet somebody in the WNBA, meet a player, instead of saying, hey, Angel, let me talk to you real quick. Instead of looking out for her, you guys just do this again, because it's okay. It's okay.
You've got to wonder what this does to Reese's relationship with Lisa Leslie. Is this the beginning of the end for their mentorship? Or could it actually be the wake-up call Reese needs to level up her game? The dynamic between them just shifted in a big way. After all, when someone like Lisa Leslie, arguably one of the greatest to ever play the game, tells you to fix something, you'd better sit up and listen. That kind of feedback doesn't come lightly. It's tough love, sure, but it's also a gift. Reese is at a crossroads right now. Will she take this as a sign to buckle down, address her weaknesses, and get serious about her future? Or will she push back and ignore the advice from a legend who's been through it all? This isn't just about basketball. It's about how Reese handles criticism, how she handles growth, and how she chooses to show up for herself in the face of challenges. That relationship with Leslie is pivotal. It could either be a turning point or the beginning of a rift. The next few moves Reese makes will reveal a lot about her character and whether she's ready to embrace the tough lessons that come with being a true star in the making.
You don't get told no. Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to come soon.
Imagine Angel Reese gripping the microphone, boldly announcing on her podcast her vision of assembling a powerhouse team in Chicago. Fast forward to today, and the Sky locker room is eerily silent, filled only with the sounds of crickets. Not a single top free agent has responded to her call, as the season's elite players are signing elsewhere. It's clear that Chicago's allure isn't as magnetic as Reese had hoped. But what went wrong?
WNBA free agency is officially underway, Annie. So when you see these names and the options that the Sky have, what do you think that they're cooking up?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Angel and Camilla are very interesting pieces. And when you're talking about, you know, getting the right players in here, there is intrigue when you have young core pieces like that, because you could be part of developing them and developing towards a title contending season. But the reality is the Sky are still very far from that. And so this year, the focus really has to be on getting players in who are going to bridge that gap between this season and next.
Could it be the turmoil within the front office that's driving potential stars away? Or perhaps the facilities, which look more like a high school gymnasium than a top-tier professional arena? Maybe teaming up with the self-proclaimed superstar isn't the allure it was promised to be. Not a single all-star is making their way to the Windy City. Is this the ultimate thanks, but no thanks response to Reese's recruitment push? Let's dissect this free agency debacle and explore whether Angel's once gleaming reputation is beginning to tarnish. Ready to dive in? Let's go!
The whole city is obsessed with you.
I know. I love it
all
here.
the time.
It feels like Baltimore here. I love it here.
It does. Kind of. A little bit. A little DMV action. Yeah. But you know, Chicago's a number 3 market in the country.
Really?
It's New York, LA, and then Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, y'all have everything. I'm not gonna lie, y'all have everything here. Like, it's nothing here that I'm like, oh, I gotta go to a different city for it. Like, everything has been here. Which I love.
Remember when Angel Reese confidently declared her intention to build a superstar team in Chicago? Well, the free agency season has just kicked off, and the Windy City is quieter than ever, with crickets chirping in the background. Picture this: Angel, phone in hand, tirelessly scrolling through her contacts, sending one text after another, making call after call, and even sliding into Instagram DMs. But the reaction? Complete radio silence.
Like Angel Reese and Camilla Cardoso too have brought relevance to this team that they've desperately needed in a time when, again, if not for them, they'd be completely irrelevant because of the product that they're putting on the floor.
And also make Chicago an attractive spot when you have Angel Reese and Camilla Cardoso right there, 2 bigs that really shined in their rookie season.
Given the abundance of elite talent on the market this offseason, you'd expect at least one all-star to be eager to join Chicago. Unfortunately, that's not the case. As time passed, the quiet became almost overwhelming. No press events, no enthusiastic social media buzz, nothing. Angel is now left with an empty roster and a multitude of unanswered questions.
So, lads, this is not great news, you know, for the Chicago Sky, who are a team that obviously, look, they're rebuilding. This is a team that is 100% rebuilding. The problem is they don't own their pick. So if the Chicago Sky run it back, they're probably not making the playoffs next year. Look, I think there's going to be an improvement from Angel Reese. I think it's going to be an improvement from Cardoso. But that team with no Kennedy Carter, it's going to be real tough to get any offensive power.
Let's delve into the details. Top-tier talents like Kelsey Plum, Jewel Lloyd, Brittany Griner, Alyssa Thomas, and Kelsey Mitchell were all available this offseason. These are the elite players capable of transforming a franchise overnight. So, how many of them even gave Chicago a second thought? None. Zilch. Absolutely nothing. You might be thinking, is there still a glimmer of hope? Does Angel have a hidden trump card? A surprise signing that could turn the tide? However, as the dust settles and contracts are finalized across the league, one fact stands out. Not a single all-star free agent opted for Chicago. Angel's recruitment strategy didn't just miss the mark, it spectacularly backfired.
So, not a good day for the Chicago Sky. Not a good day at all, because we have heard news from the journalist who reports on the WNBA, and because she is not a homer like a lot of the other people, like normally journalists are complete homers for one team. One of the actual credible journalists reported on something. Sky fans aren't happy. They all want her fired.
Now, things take an even more intriguing turn. The Sky's front office isn't exactly easing the situation. Take Kennedy Carter, their top scorer. Did they even bother to extend her a qualifying offer? It appears they might be intentionally driving talent away. And let's not overlook those trade negotiations that led to nothing. It's almost as if the moment Angel's name was brought up, the front office decided to run for the hills.
Kennedy had an incredible season for us last year, says the GM. She's extremely talented and is a player that can impact the game at the highest level in our league. We absolutely appreciate all she did for our team last year. However, we've made changes to our staff and we'll make changes to our roster. Those changes impact Kennedy's fit on the team, so we wanted to give her the best opportunity as a free agent.
What's the fallout for Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed luminary who was meant to be Chicago's Pied Piper, attracting a lineup of all-stars to the Windy City? It seems she might end up leading a solo march instead. Now, that's a tough pill to swallow. So, what exactly went wrong? Why did none of the top talents choose Chicago?
Is Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
While Angel Reese was focused on building her dream team, the real excitement of free agency was unfolding elsewhere. Imagine a whirlwind of activity across the league as top-tier players made their moves, leaving Chicago in the shadows. Let's dive into the hot spots where the stars chose to shine instead.
WNBA, the Seattle Storm are sending Jewel Lloyd to the Las Vegas Aces in a blockbuster 3-team trade that moves Kelsey Plum to the LA Sparks. That's according to ESPN. As part of the deal, Seattle receives the second pick in this year's WNBA draft from LA in exchange for the Storm's number 9 pick, while the Aces also receive the 13th pick, a second-round selection from the Sparks.
Take Kelsey Plum, for instance. Her lethal three-point shooting was a key factor in Las Vegas clinching 2 championships. Now, she's bringing her talents to Los Angeles, making the Sparks a formidable force. So, why did she choose LA over Chicago? It's straightforward. The Sparks offer a winning culture, top-tier facilities, and a well-managed front office. Tough break, Angel. But the plot thickens with Jewel Lloyd. She had the opportunity to return to her hometown, Chicago. You'd think teaming up with Angel would be a dream scenario, right? Think again. Lloyd assessed the Sky's situation and decided against it, opting instead to join Las Vegas and collaborate with Aja Wilson. Ouch.
Listen, she's a beautiful young lady, and there's a lot of beautiful young ladies in the WNBA. But when you do that, you can't come down the line and complain about being objectified later on. It's not going to work with people. Whether it's right or wrong, it's not going to work. And when you do stuff like that and you're drawing attention to yourself because of that, that can be problematic for you.
Imagine this. It's New Year's Eve, and Angel Reese drops a selfie that's more about saying, "Look at me," than gearing up for the game. The internet ignites, and not in a favorable way. Stephen A. Smith erupts in his signature style, and just like that, Reese's social media presence goes dark. But here comes the crucial question. Was it all worth it?
Here's the part that I like about the backlash. Clearly, it's something that a lot of people can't take. So if it's something that you can't take, maybe you shouldn't expose yourself to the backlash and provoking the backlash.
From WNBA rebounding champion to Instagram outcast, Reese's story serves as a cautionary tale for athletes everywhere. But don't worry, we're not just here to analyze. Smith didn't hold back, calling out Reese's attention-seeking antics and drawing comparisons to the ever-professional Caitlyn Clark. You won't believe what he had to say about Reese's desperate bid for the spotlight and how it's shaping her future in the WNBA. Ready to hear it? Let's dive in.
Especially when the comparison is going to be drawn to Caitlyn Clark, who isn't doing such things. That might not be fair. I'm not saying it is. And you certainly have the right to dress how you want and to do what you want and to live your life. But people have a right to have their opinions about what you put on display. And if they don't like it and they believe that it's not the right thing for you to be doing when you talk about building your brand, I don't know how you can argue that, Tori.
As the countdown to midnight begins, Angel Reese takes the stage in a show-stopping dress, all set to welcome 2025. However, Her fans weren't exactly thrilled with the spectacle. Reese shared the video on Instagram, probably expecting it to go viral. Instead, it blew up in the worst way possible. The backlash was swift and fierce, with comments that made everyone cringe. Even her most dedicated supporters were left wondering, what were you thinking? That's the moment you know things have gone seriously wrong.
My daughters are fully aware. Daddy had better damn well not see an outfit like that on social media. Nah, I ain't judging Angel Reese. Live your life. I'm talking about my daughters.
Right.
I promise you. I better not see that. Hey, they could be in college in LA, in Boston, or anywhere in between. Daddy will drop the mic, hop in the car, on the plane, or wherever. That ain't gonna happen. You said, I'm not having it. That's me.
So, what sparked all the drama? Picture Reese in a skimpy dress that left very little to the imagination, striking poses and walking in ways that made everyone do a double take. This wasn't your typical New Year's outfit. It was designed to make a statement, and boy, did it succeed. As the heat intensified, Reese's social media presence went silent. Then, out of nowhere, her Instagram account vanished. Just like that, it was gone.
She deleted her Instagram, and that's the most important part about all of this, because clearly she's uncomfortable with some of the backlash that she's getting because she deleted her Instagram.
Let's get real. This isn't just about a dress. It's about a young athlete who might have sabotaged her own reputation. Reese is only 22, and in the sports arena, that's prime time to make smart moves. So, what caused such an uproar? Imagine Reese in a barely there outfit that left little to the imagination, striking poses and walking with such flair that everyone couldn't help but take a second look. This wasn't your typical New Year's attire. It was designed to make a statement, and boy, did it achieve that. As the controversy ramped up, Reese's social media went silent. Then, out of the blue, her Instagram account disappeared. Just like that, it was gone. Now, everyone's left wondering what's next for Reese. But before we can even process the fallout, Stephen A. Smith jumps in with his take. Trust me, you won't want to miss what he has to say about Reese's New Year's Eve move.
Let's call it what it is. I am not trying to say that she should be criticized or she is wrong. What I'm saying is by pulling it down, clearly you felt there was something wrong with it.
You know things are getting serious when Stephen A. Smith jumps into the conversation, and boy, did he have some strong opinions about Angel Reese's New Year's stunt. Smith didn't just drop a comment, he went full disappointed dad mode on Reese. Let's dive into his reaction because it's a real eye-opener.
Yes, you are 22. Yes, you are young. And there's a lot of things that we didn't want people to know about when we were her age. Fair enough, especially me, okay? Because I'm 30 plus years removed from that age. I got that part. There was no social media then or whatever. But here's my point to you. She knows this social media. She is not dumb. She's quite a brilliant young lady. She's very smart, very accomplished. And on top of it all, she is in this age where she does know social media exists, and she has exploited it to her advantage.
First things first, Smith didn't hesitate to call out Reese's hypocrisy at lightning speed, faster than you can say double standard. He pointed out that you can't go around complaining about being objectified down the line. Ouch, that's a sharp hit. But wait, there's more. Smith wasn't about to let Reese off the hook that easily. Here's where it gets fascinating. Smith decided to engage in a bit of compare and contrast. Guess who emerged as the perfect example of how to manage your brand? None other than Caitlyn Clark. Yeah, that Caitlyn Clark, the one who's been absolutely crushing it both on and off the court without a hint of controversy.
Here's what I have a problem with, Tori. Angel Reese, in doing the things that she has done, let's face reality. She's going to be attached to Caitlyn Clark to some degree. If Angel Reese had never waved her hand in her face when LSU was beating Iowa for in the Final Four of the national championship. If that hadn't happened, Angel Reese's name might not be as big.
But here's the real kicker. Smith's critique dives deeper than just a flashy photo. He's questioning Reese's priorities. Is she prioritizing her role as an athlete or her persona as an influencer? Can she juggle both? It's like watching a high-stakes game of identity tug-of-war. And right now, Reese seems to be getting pulled in too many directions.
You have to be cognizant that no matter how you step out of your house, you are now Angel Reese. And you will always be picked apart, unfortunately. It comes with the crown. You're a queen. You're beautiful, So you just have to remember that if you aren't ready for the scrutiny, if you're not ready for the heat, then, you just got to be mindful that what comes with it.
Smith's guests jumped into the fray, fanning the flames even higher. Their perspective? Reese is starving for attention, any attention she can snag. It's like she's perpetually stuck in a game of notice me, while the rest of the sports world is laser-focused on the actual competition. Not exactly the image of a dedicated athlete, if you ask me. Now, here's where things get serious. Smith warns that this behavior could put Reese's WNBA career on the line. Are teams keeping a close watch? You bet your bottom dollar they are. He nailed it when he pointed out that when you engage in antics like that and constantly seek the spotlight, it can backfire and become a real problem for you.
It might have been a right or wrong decision depending on what she feels or what other people feel. I'm just saying that what's inescapable is that even though she's not Caitlyn Clark, she's going to be reminded she's not Caitlyn Clark with every good thing that Caitlyn Clark does, because that was her number one nemesis, in a lot of people's eyes, number one.
Let's cut to the chase. In the high-stakes world of pro sports, your reputation isn't just built on your performance on the court, it's also shaped by how you conduct yourself off it. Right now, Reese's off-court antics are stealing the spotlight from her athletic achievements. According to Smith, the key takeaway is that Reese needs to decide what she wants her legacy to be: her game or her Instagram presence. It's a tough choice, but one she needs to make quickly, because in the fast-paced arena of professional sports, yesterday's star can become today's cautionary tale faster than you can say Angel Reese.